Welcome to CWM Talk. Today we'll be speaking to Reverend Daimon Mkandawire, Mission Secretary of Ecology and Economy. Welcome.
Thank you, Agnes.
So I'm going to start by asking you about your ties to CWM. So when was the beginning of your relationship with Council for World Mission?
My journey with CWM started during a face-to-face program. This face-to-face program came to Zambia, and the United Church of Zambia Theological College was hosting it. And so we had students that came to our church. These students came and they explained what CWM was about and the mission of CWM. But my highlight with CWM started when I enrolled for a program for Eco-Justice Ministries. This was a program that was offered by CWM. And I took that course, and it was an exciting one. I think this program changed the way I looked at life, and I got to understand more about CWM. But also it equipped me to respond to issues of economic and ecological justice. And my journey with CWM has never been the same after that.
That's very interesting to know. Ecology and economy is a new program area. What are some of the main objectives of this program, and what are your expectations?
Wow, I'm excited about this program. And the main objective, the main objective is simply to equip our member churches, equip them to respond to issues of economic and ecological justice that are taking place within their context. But also the other objective is that this program will be able to be used as a platform to advocate for economic and ecological justice within and outside our member churches. And I hope and pray, as one of my expectations, is that these member churches will work together, that we will speak one voice, and the voice that we'll speak will be a voice of economic and ecological justice, in which we honor the earth, in which we honor the environment that we live in, that together as CWM and its member churches will be voices for the earth. We will speak with the earth and for the earth.
Okay. And obviously the different regions, be it Pacific, East, South Asia, Caribbean, Africa, Europe, facing different issues, some similar and some very, very different. Yeah. What about your previous experiences? How do you think your previous work experiences benefit your leadership of ecology and economy?
This is usually a hard question to answer because it seems like you are blowing your own trumpet. But let me handle it this way. That my experience, I'll begin with my own background. That I grew up on the copper belt in Zambia, in Chingola specifically. And Chingola is a mining town. It's the heart of Konkola copper mines, the extractive mining industry. It's a town with plenty of natural resources, but yet its people still live in poverty. And so I come from such a background that is filled with plenty, but yet its people have nothing. But also that I have been able to work for the mines themselves as an environmental officer before. Not only that, worked for the government as well and worked for the church. I think my work experience equips me in such a way that I know what is happening on the ground. I know the issues that the grassroots are facing. But I also know the politics that happen up there. And so these experiences help me to ensure that the politics that are taking place up there and the politics that are happening on the grassroots, we are able to address them. My experiences have equipped me to address these economic and ecological injustices that are taking place within the world.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. I want to ask you, previously you mentioned the member churches as one of the main objectives of bringing awareness to them. So how can the member churches work together to achieve these objectives? Maybe can you elaborate a bit more?
Thank you. I feel that CWM should be a platform that brings the voices of the member churches together. I know of churches in the north, for example, that have developed environmental policies for their own churches. And I also know of churches in the global south that do not have these policies. And I feel that CWM is a place where these two can come together and learn from each other. There are certain practices that the church in the global north are practicing that the church in the global south are not. And so we could exchange, that knowledge exchange must take place within CWM. And I believe that we are better suited as a mission organization to bring these churches together so they're able to learn from one another, and that together we make one voice, one powerful voice. And I believe that we are, the member churches put together, we are a big voice that can bring about change in the world.
And what about the ecumenical partners? How can they work together with Council for World Mission to achieve our objectives?
With ecumenical partners, I must say that we're doing something already. We are working with the World Council of Churches, we are working with the Lutheran World Federation, we're working with the World Methodist, we're working together, and we're working on a program called the NIFIA program, which responds to economic issues that the world is facing. But away from only working with ecumenical partners, I have a passion that we must bring on board the indigenous communities. And I must say that the indigenous communities come with them a lot of experience when it comes to managing the earth or looking after the earth. And so we need this voice to come on board. As CWM, I think we are looking forward to working with indigenous communities, whichever communities that they live in, because we believe that they've been able to look after the environment very well, to look after the economic life very well. And so when we bring this indigenous community on board, then we are headed towards a brighter and greater future.
Thank you. 2023, there's quite a few events lined up for your program. Would you like to share some of the programs that you're excited about?
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited about the entire program for economic and ecological justice. But a lot of things will happen in this year. And as for CWM, we will particularly have a number of things in economic and ecological justice. But I will highlight only a few that are exciting to me, and I feel excited about this. The first one is that we'll develop a toolkit, a pastoral care toolkit for trauma in the context of climate change, in the context of the crisis that this climate change has brought about. I think this is new and it excites me because we will bring something new to the table. So many times people that are involved in flooding, for example, ask the question, where was God when my house was washed away? Where was God when my farm products were washed away by the floods? And I feel the time has come for the church to respond to those questions. And this toolkit will be able to position us to respond to such questions. This toolkit will allow the church to speak the word, that people may know that even in that situation, God is there. But it must be theological, that people in that context will understand. So we're going to work on pastoral care in the context of climate change, in the context of economic crisis. And that is what we will develop and roll out into the world.
So these will not be generic, but rather context, regional based.
Yes, this is going to be contextual. Because these issues are contextual. Africa is facing a different kind of the crisis when it comes to climate change. The churches in the north also have different contexts. And so we believe that in developing this toolkit, it must address contextual issues that the churches on the ground are facing. But Agnes, also allow me to share this program that you will have. The program, what we're calling discipleship formation. Discipleship formation. It's a good program. I believe that as we develop it, it's going to bring about a lot of change into our member churches. This program has to include the children. And I believe that when we capture them young, then we are headed towards a good direction. So this program will be tailored towards how does the Sunday school syllabus respond to issues of climate change? How does the Sunday school syllabus respond to issues of climate justice? And that is another program that is going to take place. It's kind of new as well, because so many times we do not talk about children, but children are integral when it comes to climate change. The older generation, those that are 60, will not be there in 2050, in 21, but the children will be there to face the realities of climate change. So we must equip the children, we must equip the youth for them to respond to such issues.
So when you talk about Sunday school, because I'm a Sunday school teacher, so I'm imagining that these theological words, and it will be translated in such a way that the children will be able to grasp the issues.
Definitely, the eco justice discipleship formation will have to ensure that it is tailored in a way that a young boy in Sunday school will be able to understand. Reading the scriptures using the economic and ecological lens in a Sunday school way, that the children, as they jump, they learn about the earth.
So through illustrations, through worship, through stories, it sounds really exciting.
Definitely.
Sounds like you've got a lot on your plate.
Well, a lot, but we're excited.
Finally, what are your New Year's greetings for the member churches and ecumenical partners of Council for World Mission?
Happy New Year to all our ecumenical partners, our friends, and also the indigenous people that we look forward to welcoming on the board when it comes to economic and ecological justice. And I want to wish you a more sustainable 2023, a year in which we will live sustainable lives, a year in which we will look after the earth as the earth looks after us. Thank you.
Thank you, Daimon, for your time. We've come to the end of our CWM Talk segment. Goodbye, and see you again for the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.